a sprinting dive to the real me. And 7, meeting with you, a heart rate that no living soul can ever measure. So I will read some of my Iowa dream poems. A stranger in the street is handing me cardboard glasses to watch the solar eclipse. I gave them back and tell him I cannot see my hand in front of my face, let alone the moon in front of the sun. Try again, he says. Still nothing. I'm in a rush, I say. But can't you see that today the whole planet is looking at the sky? He hands me the glasses again. But I have so much to do, I say. I shout and run as if chased by a mad dog. I wake up with cardboard glasses on. Outside, the children are playing soccer with the moon. I go out to buy bread. The cashier tells me, our everyday obligations never fail to eclipse the sun. I'm sleeping, but the TV is still on. Buckets are falling down in the finals, governments are falling overseas, comets are falling over our heads, and all of this is covered live, and I sleep like I don't have a care in the world, like a newborn baby. The TV blares out the latest breaking news. A dear friend of mine has just died. Tell me it is just a bad dream. Tell me it is not true. Tell me that this TV spewing images in a frenzy exist only in my dream. Tell me that this sad news is false. Fool me that I'm still sleeping while governments, comets, baskets are falling. Yet my friend is still waiting for me to have a good long talk over a short espresso. Please don't wake me up in a world without him. In a chamber hot as a hell, a voice screams out, am I in Hades? I can't take it much longer. Behind the cloud of steam, he hears a shrill female voice. Well, sure, it is much easier to get there. To get to heaven, you need to fill out a whole stairway worth of forms. Plus, it is such a boring place. A man's voice interrupts her. The road to hell is paved with hot tub tiles, while the road to heaven is thorny. Someone opens the door, and the steam slowly fades away. He wakes up in a cold tub. Behind the door, he hears a voice. Did you lose yourself once again in your private purgatory? Family portrait. Inspired by a black and white photograph from the Museum of Photography in Paris. The father is missing. He probably never liked to have his picture taken, or maybe he's hiding behind the camera. The mother is also missing. She probably got tired of posing without her husband, or maybe she's in the kitchen or in the front of the mirror. The children are also missing. The son could be in the army or lives with his in-laws. The daughter could be living somewhere overseas. The grandfather is also missing. He has probably long ago departed from this world. Perhaps that's why the grandmother holds the old family portrait just like mothers hold their baby or kids hold their doll. Still life with 2 suitcases. Swollen like pumpkins about to burst, the 2 suitcases stand in the middle of the lobby. The room, no room for so many pieces of clothes and books. We put them back in the closets on the shelves. All of them, in an instant, are infused with a silent, inexpressible emotion, perhaps that very sorrow felt by all those for whom there was no room in Noah's big suitcase. Now I'm going to read a poem very similar to what Yuri just read, Turbulences. A poem written in flight. Please fasten your seatbelts. We are entering a zone of strong turbulences. A deep voice tells us, though with a hint of concern. Like schoolboys, we follow orders and buckle up and return to our magazines and books, as if we haven't got a care in the world. Yet we get a mighty jolt, and if we are living through a storm, a quake, a flood, a techno-rave, a military parade, and snap elections all at the same time. Cups and cases drop all around. A flight attendant trips over. Above our heads, popping up like clouds in comics, a vortex of fragments of prayers, woes, blessings, and last words. A quarrel of babies screaming. Some chant Hare Krishna, some pop pills, some reach for their phones to text a farewell message. And then it all comes down, as if nothing has happened. Yet we are all quiet and breathe rather differently than before, more profound, with a silent thank you with every new breath. Mid-flight. At about 25,000 feet, a pianist is practicing a Chopin concert on an imaginary keyboard. He admits to me that he often has such dry runs in between 2 airports before he sits in front of a Stanway & Sons with an orchestra ready to pounce like a jaguar. And you, when do you write? Do you do dry runs, sans papier? He asked, while calmly rehearsing the next movement in adagio. I write mid-flight, I respond, when we wait to take off and while we are in flight, when the plane shakes like a truck on a country road, when mothers breastfeed their babies so their ears don't hurt as the plane ascends, or where we applaud the pilot for the successful landing. I do dry writing even when I realize that I have picked up a similar suitcase, yet the wrong one. Mm-hmm. But when do you write down the poems? He asked me while he practices the reprise piece for the encore of tomorrow's concert. Also in flight, I confirm, between the 2 unexpected departures and forced landings in my life, where I'm not wearing a life vest. When the constraints of everyday obligations are not too tight, when my fingers ache with an unbearable pain from too many unwritten poems and verses, when I find pen and paper, when I realize that everything else can wait, and that life is flowing independently of me, and shall continue to do so after I'm gone. As he listens to my clumsy answers, he is practicing the second encore too. Even though it is a dry run, I can hear the chords mixed together with the sounds of the airplane landing and the clapping of the other passengers. Piece of the Berlin Wall. Once, as a gift, I bought a piece of the Berlin Wall. I wrapped the stone up in a luxurious paper as it was a precious jewel. But I didn't give it as a gift. I liberated it from the bonds of the paper and threw it in a river. Let it roll for centuries all the way to the sea. Museum of Salt. In the Museum of Salt, you only tell jokes worth their salt. Never garnish your stories with unnecessary adjectives. Food is never too salted, sweat is never desalted. There are no exhibitions of salt sculptures, nor group portraits of salt crystals. In the Museum of Salt, the sea is a guest just like any of us, who will sooner or later evaporate. Mausoleum of Vanity. The mausoleum of human vanity is not to be found in any tourist package, nor can it be found in the Atlas of the World. It is neither mentioned in the long list of protected cultural heritage sites or in the land cadastre. This edifice has been raised and razed to the ground 1,000 times, always too tight. At all times it holds would overflow in a blink of an eye. The Museum of Human Vanity would hardly ever fit in 5 galaxies. Stones and poets. Some poets carry flints in their pockets so they won't float away into the clouds. Some spend all day long casting boulders of poets with a talent. Some are just stoned. Some of them demand that their verse is carved into marble slabs there and then. Yet some poets just throw stones in rivers, hoping that they will skip at least once. Poem about translation. Poem written in water. Near the Forbidden City, an old man with a brush reads verses on the ground. I ask my friend to hurry up and translate it before the poem disappear in thin air. He takes a sip of water and translates in one breath. Only that which you would write in water, spared from your lips on a blistering hot day, only that is worth writing down. All else is better left to evaporate into the air, only to return with the next rain. I started with sport poem. I will finish also with one. Triple jump. All it took was to make just triple jumps. All it took was to make just 3 jumps. The first from the inside to the outside, to see the light of day. The second from the bottom to the top, to sense the endless of the sky. And ultimately from oneself to someone else, to lessen the pain from the fall down in the sand. If you allow me, I would like to finish this reading with music. Yes? First, I'm going to try to sing. Actually, I also write songs for singing, and it will be very short. It's a poem called "Zvezda spuštena." Yes. Da zvezdite se spojile i maglite se spuštile, neni od zvezdi, neni od magla, od što je ova belilo, vidot što god zema. Da gorite pod gorele i bulki se otvorile, neni od plamen, neni od bulki, od štolike rumenilovo, zdivot što go otkradna. For this reading is to play this instrument that I brought from my country. It's a traditional instrument called taal. I often play it when I go to the mountains, and I would like to share the beautiful sound of this instrument because I found it very close to the spirit of poetry.